we're filming.
Oh, wait, are we filming? Are we really?
Just change the energy.
So, to explain to our audio only listeners, we are slapping, what we're doing, just
Tapping ourselves, just changing the energy in the body, hitting those meridian points.
Because we should actually say that we're recording this. If you listen to our last episode, and we'll have to make sure that we do it in this order. If you listen to our last episode with Eve Gibney, we've all had to take a good half an hour to decompose.
to really just let that all sink in on that woman's story. That was absolutely one of the most I don't know what, because we even said about this, it's such an interesting, sad, good
it's weird.
story.
I said to you in the car, didn't I?
I
said to you, it needs to be like a drama.
It should be.
And it's the most amazing story. And then I caught myself straight away and went, but it's not amazing because this is somebody's actual feelings and their real life. I know, it's producer Jacob, you had your mouth open the whole time, didn't you? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I've never been so drawn in my entire life to a conversation.
It was incredible. So this, basically the start of this podcast, is an advert for the last podcast, which was our interview with Eve Gibney, who is the author of Face of a Bigamist. If you didn't catch it, please do go and listen back. It will be worth your time, but be prepared. You'll probably feel a bit anxious, I think, listening back to it. Anxious, emotional.
It's very emotional, up and down, highs and lows. And I don't want to talk too much about the podcast because obviously you'll listen to it if you haven't already. But she's such a strong woman.
Yeah.
But obviously underneath there's a person and there's a human being there. But I'm just in awe of how she's gone about it.
Which leads me nicely into this week's subject. Because Claire is in awe, you will be able to tell that she's in awe. You'll be able to tell that I'm in awe because our Botox has not kicked in yet and won't kick in for about, is it 2 weeks?
About another 10 days for me.
10 days. Because let's go back to Wednesday. What happened on Wednesday?
Wednesday, I was getting, in the doctor's surgery, getting my Botox injections. And as I just was in the middle of receiving them, I get a lovely phone call from Gemma Ray. Gemma Ray comes up on my phone.
Does it not say ginger tits?
No, actually.
Oh, all my other mates have ginger tits. Yeah, you need to change that.
You've got like the full professional title.
No,
I'm going to change that to ginger tit. Absolutely.
Couple of watermelon emojis.
And we're going to talk about boobs in a bit as well. So it's like Botox and boobs, so a good link in there. Gets a phone call off Gemma and I said, I'll call you back just in the middle of getting Botox done. And she said, oh, that's what I'm ringing you for. So after I'd had my Botox injections in my 3 areas of forehead, eyes and 11s here is what we call it.
Whoa, what?
Those lines there.
So like for our audio-only listeners, in between your eyebrows, top of your nose, I call that my forehead bum crack.
Forehead bum crack?
That's my forehead bum crack.
Okay, it looks like a peach bum as well. But it's usually 2 lines and it's looks like 11. The number 11.
Oh no, I just have like a big one. It's like my slit. It's like my forehead slit.
Yeah. It's funny what you call it. I don't know if it's a Scouse thing or it might just be me because it looks like 11.
No, it makes sense.
Does it?
Yeah, it makes sense.
So and then I phoned you back once I'd had it all done, and then you said you wanted to ask me about whether I'd had fillers, and you were thinking about getting your cheeks filled.
Yeah.
Was that right? And I was like, ooh, I've been thinking about that because I've seen it. So, going from there then, about fillers and Botox and boobs and aesthetics and beauty.
And beauty. And the meaning of beauty.
Mm-hmm.
But for Botox, so I then, the next day, go and get mine done.
Yeah.
And I spoke to you and asked you about fillers.
Yes.
And I've had Botox. This is me getting really honest because I only was honest with my husband about this recently. Mm-hmm. I've had Botox done twice before. The first time I had it done about 5 or 6 years ago. Mm-hmm. And then the second time was August of last year. And I quite enjoyed the way it It made me me feel a bit fresher. But interestingly, going back to 5 or 6 years ago when I had it done the first time, the reason I didn't tell my husband was because in the past, I have been somebody who can be a bit, what's the best way to describe?
Judgmental?
No. I am like fad queen. I've done it all.
Oh, right. Okay. So you
at
want
this particular time in my life,
I thought you were going to say you were judgmental and you'd looked at everyone who got Botox and you didn't want to go.
Do you know what? I was a bit. No,
like
I was a bit actually.
I was before.
No, I was a
did,
bit.
Yeah.
But at the
No,
time,
go on,
it was
fad.
like, we're going to eat organic. I'm going to take all of these probiotic supplements. I breastfed my child for a long period of time. I donated my milk to the milk bank. I'm healthier and holier than thou. And then my husband was like, you want to fucking put poison in your forehead, you hypocritical bitch.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, he's got a fucking point.
Yeah.
So I didn't tell him.
Get it.
Didn't tell him, and he didn't notice. So I thought, ooh.
Which is a good thing because that means that you've got the fresh look. Not
Rather than the
frightened
surprised
look.
rabbit about to be run over look.
Yeah. And that goes, let's go back to the point of what was the reason for you getting Botox in the first place?
Because it was 50 quid.
Hey, that's good,
I know.
isn't it?
Yeah. Somebody I knew was doing it on the cheap. And my mum and
was
my
it with
sister.
the proper stuff?
It was with the proper stuff, with the proper person. And my mum and my sister were like, hey, coded messages on the family WhatsApp group. Getting some freezy face juice on Friday. Fancy it? And I was like, 50 quid? Might as well. Got nothing to lose. So I did it. But then I felt so bad about it afterwards that I'd not told my husband about it. And he was right. He had a point. I was Mrs. Organic at the time.
Yeah.
And we've got to eat grass-fed meat and all this shit. So,
and then you're putting...
I'm putting...
Your is it, what's it? Botulism? Botulism. It's something from rats or something.
What?
Botulism. That's
hang on.
Botox.
Wait a minute. That sounds like
Google
something
it.
like a fetishism. You've put the word, is it not
Botulism is something to do with
Google is my
poison off
friend.
rats, and that's what we're putting into our foreheads, apparently.
Botox. What is Botox?
What I get is something called Azure, I think, which is a different type of
Right. What did you call it?
botulism.
Maybe that's like a fetish for Botox.
What have you looked up?
It's not,
It comes off from, it's something to do with rats, I'm
Right.
sure.
Botulinum toxin is a neurotoxin protein produced by the bacterium. Oh God, this is science, isn't it? Clostridium botulinum. I need some reading glasses. And related species. It prevents the release of the neurotransmitter acetylcholine from axon endings at the neuromuscular junction, thus causing flaccid paralysis.
Oh,
hang on. Whoa. Here you go. You were right. The toxin causes the disease botulism.
told you.
Botulism. Oh, hang on. Botulism is a rare and potentially fatal illness caused by a toxin produced by this particular bacteria. The disease begins with weakness, blurred vision, feeling tired, and trouble speaking.
Well, that just sounds like me when I was a bottle of wine. But this is why. This is why we need to have these conversations, because do people actually know what this is? Because we're putting this into our body, and you've only just found out it's something like that, and I didn't know. And
This is my point.
Go on.
Right. So because I did it on the cheap the first time, and then I've paid properly the second time, this time I actually wanted to know what was available.
Yes.
So I knew that I needed to find somebody who was a registered nurse, because I know that fillers in particular aren't regulated. The industry of injecting fillers, buying fillers and injecting fillers, you don't need any qualifications to do it. It's not regulated. And this is worth 2.6 billion in the UK, the filler and the Botox industry. So it's non-cosmetic surgery procedures are worth 2.6 billion. It's massive. 9 out of 10 procedures are Botox and fillers. I didn't know what fillers were. And so I wanted to find somebody who was a registered nurse, somebody who would educate me as well.
Yeah.
So I found Nurse Sarah Aesthetics. Somebody, she's great. Girl called Sarah is a nurse. She is a friend of mine's cousin. I know that she's done all of her training, and what I really like about her is when she posts on her social media, she's somebody who is dedicated to these procedures but achieving a natural look.
Yeah.
And that was what I wanted, because I didn't want to look, like you say, surprised, shocked.
Yeah, surprised and shocked. Yeah, like
I wanted
the high
to,
eyebrows. Yeah,
I just wanted to get
like
rid of the
fresh.
lash.
It's just fresh face. You wake up and you've got a fresh face.
But a part of me is like, why can't I just accept myself and my lines and my wrinkles?
Yeah, but it's a fashion thing as well. It's like going out and getting your hair done. Is how I've trained my mind to look at it. And to be honest, this is probably the longest I've gone without Botox. So I haven't had it since I think, is it 6 to 9 months? And I'm normally every 3 to 4 months.
And how often have you been doing that? How many years have you been doing that for?
Since I was 38, so I was quite late to the train, to be honest. I'm 45 now.
Choo choo.
Everywhere. I was like, woo, go on, inject me. No, because a lot of my younger friends were doing it years ago, and I was like, I really don't think I need it or I want it. Not because I was scared of needles, I just didn't think I needed it. And then we went on a holiday to Ibiza in 2013. Funnily enough, I got it just as me and Mark were not right.
When you were going through a bad time?
Yeah. And it must have been to make me feel better or something, I don't know. But I just remember coming back from Ibiza, and some of my friends had it and were younger than me anyway, and I was looking at some of the photos and I thought, do you know what, them eyebrows are a bit low. Let me go and get
your own eyebrows?
My own eyebrows were more rounded. So I thought, I'll give it a go. And then what I loved about it, I didn't, no one told me that it takes 2 weeks to work. So the next day I was like, it doesn't work. And then over time, you can start to feel it go frozen, can't you? And it's just fresh. And I was made up with it. And again, it was just the fresh faced look. I didn't want the big, the big frightened look, or some people like that because it opens up their eyes, and I just went with that. So yeah, ever since I was 38, so it's 7 years. Yeah.
See, I wanted to know what was available. Like you said there, nobody told you that it takes 2 weeks
they just went bing, bing,
to
bing,
work. And I wanted to know what was available and what was out there. So I've probably done what many people have done. I've sat scrolling on Instagram and looking at these accounts and following the hashtags, fillers, Botox, different procedures. And it's quite amazing what is able to be achieved, really. And I think it was a picture of, and forgive me because I don't follow the Kardashians, it was either Kylie or Kendall Jenner. Which one's richer? Which one's more popular?
The younger one. And is it the photograph of before Botox and fillers and after? And she looks like a completely different person, and she's amazing.
But the caption says, "You are not ugly, you're just poor," which made me giggle and made me laugh because, these treatment it is incredible.
Yeah.
I'll give another example. Charlotte from Geordie Shore.
Oh yeah, she's changed.
Oh, what's Charlotte's
massively.
surname? I can't think of her surname now. But
Do you remember who she is?
Oh, here we go. Oh, look at this.
Is that the one you're on about?
Look, remember, you're not ugly. You're just poor. And it's picture. It's the picture's different to the one I saw, but that's brilliant.
Yeah, she looks it's this one that looks absolutely complete. I mean, God, they all do. Yeah, I'm just looking at them now.
Wow. They look, so for people who are listening audio only, it's a picture of all of the, including, what's their mum called? What's the mum?
I am so not.
Mrs. Jenner, what's her name? Oh, what's their mum called? Anyway, Kim's mum. The difference.
I am so...
There's hope for us all, basically. But Charlotte from Geordie Shore, when you look at pictures of Charlotte before and Charlotte now, wow, what a difference.
Yeah.
And she looks great. You can't argue.
Does. She
looks great. And I just think it is all about personal choice. But going back to my appointment yesterday, she said to me, "What bothers you?"
I like the way she coached her through that.
I know. And I was like, ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
What bothers me? And I said, well, what would you recommend? And she said, it isn't my job to recommend anything. What bothers you? And I said, I don't think anything bothers me. And she said, why are you here then? I was like, I don't know, that's a really good question. So she did coach me through it a little bit. And one of the things I realised was we've been doing this podcast, for example, and we film it, and I've watched footage back and I've been a bit like, ooh.
Yeah, I know.
Also, I have a Facebook group. You've got a Facebook group.
We do
and,
lives.
you know, we've been told that you should go live all the time on your Facebook group. The last time I did a live was probably back in January. We are now in April. And so I said to her, and I think that's where my internal tug lies.
Yeah.
There's a part of me that doesn't want to give a shit about this, but I obviously do. Which is why I count my calories and go to the gym and...
But it also
shave my
makes
bikini
you feel better as well.
Whatever.
It gives you more energy to feel better, and it gives you that discipline, doesn't it? But
what do you mean? No, hang on. Rewind. What do you
all
mean?
of the
Gives
stuff
you
that you
discipline for
do,
what?
all of the stuff that you do. So, you know, counting your calories, and that's part of, you've said before, that disciplines me, and I like that, because that means like I'm trusting myself and I'm making promises to myself, because you want to look after yourself. And maybe if you just reframe it and say, well, I'm getting Botox to look after myself, to make me feel better when I visually look at myself. And it's not like you're getting a face pumped full of all kinds, is it? It's just a little bit of botulism.
I haven't told you the next bit though, when you say getting a face pumped of all kinds.
Right, okay,
Don't make me laugh too much. And I know Sean won't listen to this, because as I've said before, he just...
Does he know? Does he know you've had it this week?
No, he knows I've had Botox. He knows I've had freezy face juice.
Yeah.
But I haven't told him that I did get cheek fillers.
Have
I not told you this?
No.
See? You didn't even realise, did you? I will turn to camera now for our visual viewers.
Did she put the 500,000 in?
500,000.
Yeah, you can see
filler.
it now under the light. So, how did that hurt? Because they say fillers hurt more so.
As I said to her, because she did say...
Because didn't you say it like it can move or something? Or was that...
No, something else.
No.
So she put numbing cream on first for 20 minutes. And she did say to me, has that worked? She was touching my face and I was like, no, but don't worry, I'm ginger and I'm hard. So she went in. And it did at one point, like up at the top here, because it's right near. Right, I've got to be careful because I'm not supposed to touch it. But it feels like I've bumped my face on like a cabinet. Yeah. It's like a slight. Rub your finger on it very gently there, because there's more. I think that's more raised than the other one. Can you? Right, so you'll have to do it this like that.
It's a bit hard.
It's weird, isn't it?
But you're not bruised or anything.
No, I know, I'm not bruised.
Because people
I feel sore.
Get bruised off that.
I feel sore, and I feel, I don't know. I feel ashamed in a way.
Why?
I don't know. I just feel like a bit of a knob. Like, what did I do that for? What? And I did it because I was curious.
Yeah.
I did it because I was like, I've got fucking nothing to lose. I'm going to do it. And because she'd said to me, so I'd agreed this. We'd had a consultation. I'd agreed it the day before, and she talked it all through me. And it comes with risks, you know. There's risk of blindness. Yes. There's risk of like facial flesh decaying. But
the good thing is she told you that.
Well, yeah, she went through this whole like spiel with me, and you know, I had to sign to say that I understood. There was a full disclaimer. I had to sign. I understood the risks, and I'm just thinking, what am I doing?
Why am I putting this stuff in my body?
What am I doing? Yeah. And that's I suppose why the whole thing about doing this podcast together was about being honest.
Yeah.
And
what about beauty and about what we do to make ourselves feel better. But it's crazy as well, because I think about people talking about vaccines and not having a vaccine, and you should have a vaccine and you shouldn't have a vaccine, and you know, you're putting stuff in your body, but there's people putting all kinds of other stuff in the body as well. And if it's your body, so you can choose what you put in it, and it's not like you're just putting anything in it. You are doing research and going to a proper professional to get it done. And it looks nice. Now that I can see little cheekbones glistening in there. In Jacob's
But
new
is that not
podcast
is that not blusher? Like, hang on. Here we go. I'm going to get my.
So
I'm going to rub the blusher off on the side.
The point of the cheek fillers is that to lift the cheek.
So she said, I said to her,
because I thought it was, for me, it was to lift the cheek, to pull these lines up rather than
inject. The marionette lines around your mouth, yeah?
Because your lines aren't as deep as mine. Yours are just normal, but I feel like they're really deep. But I don't want fillers in there, because in case they go like a monkey mouth. Like,
so if you're listening right now, right, touch your nose, and then move your fingers out towards the apple part of your cheeks. So that's the first kind of part that she put a teeny tiny bit in.
Yeah.
Then I want you to move your fingers like 0.5 centimetre up towards the corner of your eye.
Yeah.
That was the second point. And then just up slightly again,
so just
the
3 little
cheekbone,
things.
that was the third point. So what she said to me is a lot of people will have more filler in that top point where the hard part of your cheekbone is, because it gives the more angular look, whereas I wanted it in this lower part of the apples of my cheeks to pull my cheeks up. Because I've lost weight, I've lost volume in my face.
Yes.
Would I have it done again? I don't know. I'm pretty pleased that people haven't. I'm really glad actually that you didn't realise.
Yes.
Because I didn't want it to look
be dead
too
noticeable.
Extreme. But even though, I don't know, I think I'd have to give it a couple of weeks to maybe get used to it. But I don't know whether I'd have it done again, because I don't know. I'd have to wait. Apparently, it can last about a year. But if I don't like it for whatever reason, you can have it dissolved and removed. And yeah, that's why I think I feel a bit of a dick. I feel a bit ashamed. I feel silly. Like, why did I need to do that? Why did I feel like I needed to do that?
Because you like to try new things. I wouldn't feel
But if I'm honest, I think a part of it is, and I've got to be honest, because this is the kind of point of this podcast, I'm losing weight, I'm posting pictures online, and I'm enjoying the attention. I'm enjoying the lovely comments that come from people telling me, you look great. You look really well. And I feel well. Yeah. And that's helping me and that's spurring me on. Yeah. And yeah. But again, it kind of comes back to that. Why do I feel like I need to do that? Have you read Untamed by Glennon Doyle?
No, I haven't.
Right,
I think you've told me about this one before.
It's worth... you like audiobooks, actually. I listened to the audiobook and then I got the paperback as well because I really enjoyed it. Glennon Doyle writes in a way that, I just think it's beautiful. She speaks common sense. She's a writer. She's just great, right? And then you go and you follow her on her social media, and she's turned her back on all of that. The grey hairs are coming through. She doesn't do Botox anymore. She's not doing crazy diets. She's looking after herself, and she's got to this point of
wise woman.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna be comfortable in my own skin, and I feel sad that I'm not at that point. I feel like, but then I've got to be honest. I was at that point, when I was wearing my hair natural and
when we were in lockdown.
It was before then. No, it was before then. I was doing the curly girl method, and I'll never forget. I was in this Facebook group. So the curly girl method is about women men who've got naturally curly hair and finding a way to style your hair so your natural curls are more enhanced. Yeah. And I'll never forget, I joined this Facebook group, and this woman was posting about the curly girl method and how it changed her life because this was who she's meant to be. This was her true identity. And I'm like,
curly girl hair.
Fuck off, love. And then within a few months of doing it myself, I was like, this is who I'm meant to be. But
I need to get that now. Is that Facebook group still going? I'll give it to our Joanne, my sister, because her hair, she hates her curly hair, and I think it's lovely.
But then I think I did do it for a while, and I thought I liked it.
You'd embraced it.
I it was better, and then I don't know. It was New Year's Eve actually, not last year, the year before, and I just was like, fuck it. I'm not doing another year because I did look like the love child of Mick Hucknall and Charlie Dimmock. And I thought, I'm not doing another year looking like a hypocritical pig. I'm going to fucking sort my shit out. So I straightened my hair, put some makeup on.
You suited straight.
And then curly as well. Started the health kick with the intention of this time next year, when those fireworks go off, this time next year on New Year's Eve, I'm not going to be this fat and I'm not going to look like this. And it worked. And
exactly.
it happened.
And are you a happier person for that inside? Yeah.
But then why do I need Botox and fillers to make me even happier? Why?
Because it's just for the fresh look, isn't it? It's just because if you're a visual person and you pick things up with your eyes, because some people are more visual and others aren't. Some people are more kinesthetic or auditory. If you're a visual person, I know I am. I spot every little thing when I've got my glasses on because I can't see. But I am very visual, and I always think about what I'm going to wear and what other people are wearing, and I'll take everything in. And as soon as I look in the mirror and I spot something, I go, oh. So it makes me feel better that way. But part of me is, what you said before, is in the lockdown period, my roots were like this. The Botox wore off. Even there was no makeup, there was no nail varnish, no false nails. And I was like, I really like this.
Did you?
I felt comfortable, but I'm older than you, and I'm thinking I'm going to be this like old woman with caftans, but like still going to be really slim because I'll be like vegan and eating plant-based food, and my nails will be all natural and not false, and I'll have white grey hair. But then it was like, no.
But then you were like, yeah, actually, I'm going to go and see other. That's what it comes down to, isn't it? Actually, I'm going to see other people, and I want to look better when I see other people.
Yeah, and it probably is. It's about looking good for yourself, but also probably to feel comfortable with other people. But if we all didn't get Botox and we all, do you know what I mean? We'd all then be the same anyway, wouldn't we? So we're all doing it. What are we all doing it for?
This is my point. This is what I'm trying to get to the heart of. Like, I love how it's made me look and how it's made me feel, but I'm also deeply, deeply uncomfortable with my need for it.
I know what you
my
mean
inability to accept this face as it is. Which leads me on to my next point, because you told me something in the car before, because I said to you,
didn't know.
I've also been looking at getting a breast reduction and potentially an uplift.
Yes.
If my husband does happen to be listening to this podcast and not on Call of Duty or the toilet. I'm sorry I've not discussed this with you, but I'm chatting to Claire about it instead.
Yeah, telling me in the car that you might get a boob reduction and a lift, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, I'd have to do that, wouldn't I?
And I was saying, because you have lost loads, haven't you, off your boobs, because you've got a good size, you've got a good rack there, haven't you?
I have, massive. Got their own postcode. They speak a different language, they're that far away from the rest of my body.
Time zones.
Different time zones, yeah. Different time zones.
Whereas, what did I say to you in the car? Because I've obviously my boobs are false.
And I didn't know. I didn't know.
Yeah.
So talk to me. When did this happen? Why did you do it?
And God, I hope Josh and Danny don't listen to this, because my kids don't know that I've had them done either, because it's that thing of, I don't want my kids to know that I put things in my body that don't belong there. But I got my breast implants when Josh was 6 months old. So
before you had Danny?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes. Oh my God, they went massive when in my second pregnancy. But I was 32, and I know we've talked about our eating habits and stuff like that when I was younger, and I was quite thin, and I obviously had Josh. I put 3 stone on with Josh, and then when I had him, I literally just went on like lettuce and tuna again, lost all my baby weight within months, and then I was literally just left with the breast tissue, and it was a confidence thing. It was like they were all right, you know, in like the triangle bikinis
where you can hike them up,
so where there'd be something in there to like tie, and you tied. They looked all right there, but then just on their own, and you know when you bend over and they just like look like little.
Well, no, that's never happened for me, because mine have always been like Right Said Fred Brothers in a bra stuck on my chest.
My friend explained it. She used to say that they looked like envelope flaps. So you know the way like envelopes go. So we used to call each other envelope. They are with the
I know what you mean.
You know,
because I've been researching this. I know exactly what you mean, because I've signed up to this website where you can look at, like, you've got to register and you've got to sign up to see proper before and afters and proper reviews. Yeah. And I know what you mean. It's like 2 triangles with a nip on the end.
Well, hers were worse than mine. So she called herself that nickname, and she won't mind me saying it because we used to laugh at it with a lot of people. And so I was like, I really am. I want to get them done. These are just like, there's nothing in them. The breast tissue are gone.
Yeah.
So I went to Transform in Crosby. I can't remember the name of the surgeon, but 3 friends had recommended the same guy. So I asked for him, and it was him. And he said, I don't do Jordan boobs. I don't do Katie Price boobs. I do whatever suits your frame. But he said, you can get either behind the muscle or in the breast. And because mine weren't that small, they actually did have something. He said, yours will just be normal. Behind the muscle's more painful, but yours will just be to fill the empty sack, to fill the envelope flap.
Ready for postage.
Yeah. So, and then it was like, people were going, oh, well, what size are you going from and to? And I was like, I was a 30 A/B at the time. And then I said, okay, well, I want to be a D. And he said, you don't do it like that. We do it. And the implant had numbers. So I can't remember. I think it might have been something like
milliliters,
260.
Right, okay.
I'm sure 260 or 290 rings a bell. So I went and said, okay, them. And he said, yeah, they'll be the right size for you. No bigger than that, I won't do it. So anyway, a few months later, goes in, gets it done. Privately, was done within the day, and then was in absolute agony for 2 weeks. Like, could not move, couldn't pick Josh up as a baby. My mum had to come round and look after him, and he was 9 months at the time, and I had to lie on my back for 2 weeks when I was in bed. You literally could
with
not.
With the baby.
Well,
my God.
He was in his cot, but you'd have to sit up and go to sleep like that for 2 weeks because of the water retention.
Right. Do you now look back and think, what the fuck was I doing?
I absolutely...
With the baby?
I know. It was like Mark said, you know what? Because Mark always says, he went, you've got a bum. He said, and you know I like bums. You've got a big bum. I'm a bum man. So I don't mind if you have small boobs. But if you want bigger boobs, then it's up to you. But go and get them done if you want. So I was like, okay, because I did think about it for years. It wasn't just a snap decision, and it's just because they went so bad when I'd lost all my baby weight. They just went even worse. So then I got them done, but the pain wasn't good for a couple of weeks. But then as soon as I woke up from the operation, I just looked down and I went, oh. I was made
Christmas.
I was like, oh my God. And even
Father Titmus has been.
Even me mum and dad come to see me, and I had like bandages on them, and I was like that to me dad. And he was going, Claire, I don't want to see. And I was like, I'm just made up, mum. And she was going, all right, okay, yeah, come away now. And then a few other friends got them done after that, and I've been dead happy with them up until about 18 months ago, when I start hearing of women who've had them for as long as I have had them now. So I've had them for 13 years because Josh is nearly 13. And sometimes when I keep saying I've had headaches and stuff in the last 12 months, and I had a vitamin D deficiency last year, and then I think it might be hormones, but then part of me goes, is there a leakage or is it the implants? Because you hear now of women getting them taken out, and I have toyed with the idea, and then I go, no, I cannot go back to.
What's the deal with it, right? You know, how because surely they can't stay in forever, sure, or can they? I don't actually know the answer to that.
The surgeon at the time said it's an urban myth to say that you have to get them changed every 10 years. He said they last as long as they last, really. And I was lucky that I didn't have them PIP implants, the ones that were made dangerously. I don't know, proper ones. And I did have a friend who had PIP implants, and she had to go and get a new set, and hers had burst as well inside and caused rashes in the body, and she wasn't well at all. So part of me sometimes thinks, shall I just get them taken out? But then the thought of seeing them,
but would you not
in them?
Would you get them
when they've been stretched,
taken out, and then done again, or would you? I don't know.
Yeah,
'cause you're putting yourself through
Yeah.
Like I was talking to my friend the other day, and she I'm sure she won't mind me saying this, you know, she's contemplating getting a breast reduction as well. And she said, you know, I've got 2 girls and am I doing the right thing? I'm putting myself through an unnecessary surgical procedure, but the boobs make her miserable and affect how she feels about herself. And
see, I know,
you know, like,
and this is it. This is the whole, we and I mean, I talk about all the time, we talk about going inside, connecting to your inner soul and love yourself for who you are. But we're also living in these physical bodies, living a human experience with other human beings. So there's things that we will do to make ourselves feel better. And maybe over the next 12 months or so, you might decide to not get Botox anymore or fillers because we're doing inner work. But I'm still not going to judge myself for doing it or judge others, because if you want to get it done, get it done.
Personal choice.
I suppose if you're not harming anyone else and it's your body, it makes you feel better, then do it. But not at the detriment where it's going to do something bad to you or poison you. Because we were talking about the lip fillers, weren't we, before?
Yeah.
Where I think, again, if you want to get lip fillers to enhance the look, like the cheek fillers to enhance it, that's lovely. But when you see people and the lips are like so swollen and sore, I think, have they got them to look like that and ask them to look like that? Or is that an infection? Or is it because they keep getting them done? Because it looks painful. It looks like some people are going to burst. And I don't mean to offend anyone, but it looks painful. And I think, is it painful? And are you doing that because you think it looks nice or it's fashionable, or because you're insecure about your lips, or is it because it's a fashion thing? So I must admit, I do look at some people's faces and I might be shocked, like staring at someone's face, and stop staring at the
well,
lips.
it's all right, because in 2 weeks' time, you can't look shocked because your Botox will kick in.
Exactly.
So it doesn't matter if you're looking at people and judging them, because you're going to have a freezy fod and it's all going to be fine.
And even some of my friends who get the lips done and stuff like that, they've gone, oh my God, I've had my lips done. Look, oh my God, what am I going to do? But they swell. It swells, doesn't it, with fillers? So it's like, that's fine. Just don't get them done again. But then 6 months down the line, I might get them done again.
That I think is what I'm worried about.
Yeah,
it's like addicted.
It's like you get addicted to it. Or I might just have a bit more and a bit more. And I think that's what happens to some people. And it's like, no, just keep it like that, because that just looks nice. But don't go too far, especially if it's going to poison your body. And it'll...
Is that your stomach?
What's that distortion?
Can you hear that down the mic? That's because I've had no dinner. It sounds like there was a bit. It might have been one of my implants, mightn't it?
Oh, don't say that. Do you know what?
I think there'll be a flat boob there.
Well, nicely round up this week's episode of Honest to God podcast. If you've got any comments or opinions on this, if you're feeling the same, you know, if you've had any non-cosmetic or cosmetic work done and you possibly feel the same, as I said, I'm happy I've done it and I'm really uncomfortable with it at the same time. I don't think there's a wrong or right answer. You do you, hun. We'll do us. I'm Gemma.
I'm Claire.
And this is Honest to God. See you next time.